By the way, just so you know, if you go here, you may not know about the rest of the country and the New Thought churches, but Reverend Michelle in this church is a very respected church and speaker and leader and minister around the country. Yes, absolutely. So many times when a church is deciding whether or not to bring us in, I'm like, Reverend Michelle Whittington at CLF brings us in every 2 years. And often they say yes because of her. It happened recently. I don't know which church it was, New Vision. But she had contacted them and let them know to have us in, and they did. So thank you, Reverend Michelle. And I know she's having a fabulous time right now. So today's message is healthy relationship an oxymoron? Has anyone ever felt that way? Yeah. Especially in romantic relationships. You all know about oxymorons, jumbo shrimp, military intelligence, patiently waiting, constructive criticism. Now, a healthy relationship is not an oxymoron, but if you're like me, you didn't have a lot of great examples of healthy relationship growing up, so it felt that way. And so for years and years and years, what I did is I started to analyze the different relationships that I was in, and they always sort of turned out the same. In the beginning, it was really exciting. You know, and they would say, oh, I love him, he's so assertive. And then they would like drop the ertive. But what would happen is it always ended up the same way. They would stay with me. They would stay with me for a while, and I would stay with them, and they would always sort of end the same way. And so I started thinking, I need to find the common denominator in all these relationships. And it was me. And what I realized by looking deeply is I hadn't kept picking the wrong person. Anybody ever felt like, well, I keep picking the wrong person? It's not me, it's them. It's like going to a mirror and going, man, my hair is a mess in that mirror. That mirror sucks. Let me go look in that mirror. Oh, it's a mess in that mirror too. I'm going to get a mirror that's going to, oh, it's still a mess, right? Because everyone is a mirror of us. And there's an old saying that you get what you deserve in life. I don't agree. Because believe me, folks, if you got what you deserved, you would have heaven on earth all the time. That's what we deserve, right? But what happens? We get what we believe we deserve. And so I had a belief system. I'll call it a mind virus. A mind virus that people would stay committed to me for a couple of years, and then they would not. Now, I could go back into my childhood and show you exactly where that virus was planted. But you know what? I could waste a lot of time with that story because for 50 years, I'm the one that watered it. So it doesn't matter necessarily what was planted in your life. It matters whether or not you watered that virus over and over and over again. I really believe that CLF is really an elaborate form of antivirus. Because we come here with all this stuff. And here is a place where there are teachings and unconditional love to help you replace those viruses with the truth of who you are. So once I took personal responsibility for why my life was not working the way I wanted it to, I was able to start putting energy towards changing me. So when I looked in that mirror, it looked a lot better. And there was commitment. And then in a very short period of time after doing that work, coincidentally, Angelina showed up. And on August 27th of this year, it will be 15 years since I sang at her church, which was a very, very good day for me. And the rest is herstory. So we are going to do a song here now that I wrote before I met Angelina as a way of pre-paving the road. Abraham Hicks talks about pre-paving as a way of pre-paving the road so I could one day be in a committed relationship that would not end in the same way it had always ended. Now, it's kind of a country song, so that's why I have this hat. And so this song is called Had to Be Somebody. Let's do it. Woo-hoo! Well, I've been waiting for you to love me. I dressed up nice so you would see me. I did everything I could to please you. I sang you a song so I could tease you, but I didn't know what to do to give my heart to you, 'cause I had to be somebody you could love. Had to be somebody. I had to see your love inside of me. Had to be somebody. I had to be somebody you could trust. Had to be somebody. Instead of looking at you, I started looking at me to be somebody. I had to be somebody, yeah. Well, I've had girls who said they loved me. Well, they always held their hearts above me. Oh, but that all changed when I found you. I even got married once, she left me too. But I didn't know what to do to make you love me too, 'cause I had to be somebody you could love. Had to be somebody. I had to see your love inside of me. Had to be somebody. I had to be somebody you could trust. Had to be somebody. Instead of looking at you and you and you, I started looking at me to be somebody. I had to be somebody, yeah. All right, here comes the tricky part. Change yourself and you'll change your world. Find yourself and you'll find that guy or girl. Whoa, whoa, whoa. George Strait, eat your heart out, baby. Can you imagine George Strait in a jacket like this? Guess he wouldn't be straight no more, would he? And then I found out what to do. It's gonna make you love me too. Oh, I had to be somebody you could love. Had to be somebody. I had to see your love inside of me. Had to be somebody. I had to be somebody you could trust. Had to be somebody. Instead of looking at you and you and you, I started looking at me to be somebody. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. I had to be somebody. Look, man, no hands. You can't do that. I had to be someone. You're nice. Wow. I thought the 9 o'clock service was awesome, but y'all are a little more excitable. It's because y'all got more sleep. What's that? And more coffee. Yeah, I like it. All right. Wow. So, Angelina and I study something, and we've been studying it since 2004, and I know that it's big at this church. As a matter of fact, I think Reverend Michelle is going to be doing a book study on this with the information from Real Love. Is there a Real Love class happening? It's happening now. What a coincidence that we're talking about this today. Real Love, we got into it, like I said, about 11 years ago, and then we got very involved in it here in this community with River and Sharon and many other folks around here. And we've actually been to Greg's house and helped do an intervention in the past with him. And we love that material. There's such simple processes. Now, that doesn't mean they're easy. But a couple of them that he talks about a lot in Real Love, I would like to invite Angelina to come and share her perspective on that.
Right. There's two things that I always go to when I need a little extra help. And it's the law of choice and the law of expectation. So I'll start with law of expectation. When we have expectations, it can a lot of times lead to disappointment or resentment. And so we can't ever expect anything from anyone. So I'll give an example. I like having the bed made in the morning. And Armand doesn't really feel like that's something he feels is important.
I don't want to do something you have to undo every night.
So, like, if I get out of bed before Armand and the bed's not made, I used to have expectations that Armand should make the bed. So I have to let go of that expectation because I was starting to have some resentment that if he's up, he should be making the bed. Because, I'm kind of like a perfectionist, and so like I want the bed made because it makes me feel good about the day, and my day's started and the bed's made, and so it stems from my perfectionism and probably not enoughness, but that is definitely a different talk. We'll have that another time. So so the law of choice is also good because if I make the bed, it's because I want to make the bed because it helps me feel good, but I can't have him, if he has a choice, to say, I don't want to make the bed. So when I make the bed, I'm making it because I'm choosing to do it for me. And then there's no resentment, there's no disappointment. So I find those two tools are really helpful when you're a little frustrated in relationship.
And Greg Bear uses an example. He says, let's say you have somebody in your life that's not as neat as you are. You have a few options, at least 3 that are good options. But the one that we most want to use is not an option. So the first one is you can stay with the slob and love it. That's actually the healthiest option. The second option is you can stay with the slob and hate it. How's that working for you? Not so good if you do that. The third option is you can leave the slob. That can be something to do now and then. But the fourth option that's not an option is change the slob. Who wants to do that one? That's the one we normally want to do. That is what the ego wants to do. What the ego says basically is, could you please be different so I'm more comfortable? That's crazy. But it is natural and it's okay. It's what we try to do. The deal is not to beat yourself up for these behaviors, but to shine light on them so you can see how neurotic you are. And when you see how neurotic you are, you have done what Eckhart Tolle says, you have disidentified from the ego. It doesn't mean it went away. You have just disidentified from it. You no longer think it's you. It's like watching a movie about yourself. You're not going to freak out as much as if you're stuck in the movie. So our goal is always, now we also study Untethered Soul. Have they done book studies here on that? Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. He lives in Florida near us. And Untethered Soul says when you see yourself being neurotic, how many people saw the amazing metaphysical grown-up movie called Inside Out? The best spiritual animation movie I believe I've ever seen. It's not really for kids. I don't think most people under 12 would even have a clue the underlying metaphysical meaning of that movie. But they basically showed all the different little neurotic voices in the head and how they're just doing the best they can, but they are not us. They are not us. So it's important to lean back, disidentify, or as Deepak Chopra and many of the speakers, become the observer or the watcher. Anything you can do there so you cannot get caught up in it. Now, let me talk to you a little bit. You may notice that my shoes don't match today. It's because I'm a cross-dresser. That's not exactly true, but the deal is, have you ever had one of these spiritual teachers that likes to make you wrong? They do something called a metaphysal. A metaphysal is when you say something like, I've had a really tough day, and they say, well, you created that. That's when you say, you created this. But you don't do it because you're too spiritual. That's also called spiritual malpractice. I heard one of those quote-unquote experts say at a meeting one time, at a lecture, you should not compromise with anyone because that's a way for neither of you to get your needs met. And I said, wow, that's perfect if you're single. But if you want relationship, compromise is important. So this morning, Angelina, being the loving, leave it to Beaver wife that she is, she had my shoes out for me, but she had the black shoes. And I was like, I want to wear the brown shoes because that way we got a little contrast going here. And she says, they don't really go. I said, oh, you think the black shoes? So I put one on each foot, and I looked in the mirror, and I said, I can either be right or I can be happy. And so I said, if I wear the brown shoes, I'm making her wrong. But if I put the black shoes on, I'm making me wrong. I'm going to wear one of each. And so that was our compromise.
That's a compromise. Because I will say, I had a little control thing going on that he should be wearing the black shoes.
Yeah, I know you did, sweetie.
I did.
Happy wife, happy life. So that's a little bit gender role sexist, I admit, but anyway, I'll say it. Okay, so that's it. And there's a great symbolism of that in the world. It's called the Vesica Pisces. And you've seen it before. It's a circle and another circle. So this would be you. This would be that person that you maybe have challenges with. And then you cross here and there's a fish in the middle. And that fish is where you two can hang out. That fish is where you two can have conversations all the time. I remember we were at her parents' house and they were watching Fox News upstairs with Bill O'Reilly. And we were watching Bill Maher on HBO downstairs. And so I thought this is the perfect Vesica Pisces. They like that. We like this. We both love Angelina. You see, so as long as when you're hanging out together, you're talking about stuff, you can move a little bit here and there just to share some opinions, but not about trying to get them to give up their space, because it's a beautiful space. Angelina likes to make the bed. I'm not going over there. I like to do what I did yesterday. I had a brand new thing called a freeboard, I think is what it's called. You hook this thing up to your feet, the jet ski turns on the water, and you fly. There ain't no way in hell she's going to ever do that. That's this over here. You see, you don't have to be alike, okay? Alike is kind of boring. We often think, well, we need to think more alike so we'll have harmony. No, ask our band. That's not harmony, monotony. Harmony is when many voices with different styles find a way to blend together. That's it. So I asked Angelina years ago, I said, look, I've written this love song. It's all about the healthy relationship. If you, any Course in Miracles students, in the Course in Miracles, they say there's the healthy relationship and the holy relationship and the special relationship. I was an expert on the conditional special relationship, but I didn't know a clue about the holy relationship. And I started working on it. And I wanted more with Angelina, and real love helped me to work on it. So one day I said, Angelina, this is the love song I wrote about the holy relationship. I want us to sing it as a rock ballad. It'll be like Tom Petty, Stevie Nicks. It'll rock. And I invited her, and guess what she said?
I said, no way. Because, I'm just not a rock and roller on any plane. So I said, really, you're going to have to do this one on your own because I can't sing rock and roll. So
I thought about it for a moment. At first, I got a little bugged, And I thought, wait a second. Your whole energy right now is supposed to be focused on the healthy, holy relationship. That's not where you get her to do what you want. That would be an awesome relationship, but that's not the holy relationship. So the holy relationship is where she gets to be fully self-expressed, I get to be fully self-expressed, and we create a tapestry out of that. And so I'm going to sing my rock and roll ballad, and she
added Italian lyrics to his rock ballad.
So let down your guard, and I'll show you my heart. Till you feel the love from within. Find holy communion with all that you are. I'm going to love you so you'll never feel afraid again. Although we've just met, I've known you forever. This situation is totally new. I feel right at home. There's no reference point. Our souls are connected. I look in the deep of your crystal blue eyes, and I see the light. So let down your guard, and I'll show you my heart till you feel the love from within. Find holy communion with all that you are. I'm gonna love you so you'll never feel afraid again. I stole this line from Jack Nicholson in As Good as It Gets. You make me want to be a better man. You give me freedom, encouraging me to be who I am. Let's make no promises of what's yet to be. All that we need is eternally now, the air that we breathe. So let down your guard and I'll show you my heart, till you feel the love from within. Find holy communion with all that you are. I'm gonna love you so you'll never feel afraid again. I don't know what love is, but I know what it's not. When I am with you, I feel closer to God. Yeah, and I'm not afraid. So let down your guard and I'll show you my heart, till you feel the love from within. Find holy with all that you are. I'm gonna love you so you'll never feel afraid again. You'll never feel afraid again. Big rock and roll ending, honey. Is healthy relationship an oxymoron? Absolutely not. But we do have to practice our tools and keep loving each other. And so it is, yes.
In prayer, there we are. So if you just take a deep breath. And the divine has expressed in this room through music, through love, through humor, laughter, joy, harmony. And I know that these things are in each one of us as we are a divine expression here and now. And I simply speak my word from this place, knowing that I am one with the divine. And I speak my powerful word into the law, knowing that the law works. Love points the way, and law makes the way possible. So I know that there is love, there is harmony, there is peace, that each of us finds that fish in the middle where we feel connected to others and know our connection to the divine and to each other, because it's all one. That we are that love and we are that harmony expressing here right now. And so today I claim that we feel connected to one another, connected to every creature, and connected to the earth. That our relationships are healthy and filled with joy. So this I know, and this I say, thank you, thank you, thank you, God. And I release it into that law. It only says yes. And I let it go, and I let it be. And together we say, and so it is.